everybody. I'm glad. So now you know your breakout room. And so let's hop into what we're going to be talking about today. So this is our agenda or our essential questions that we will answer hopefully by the end of our meeting today. So what are the updates in media leadership developments? Just wanted to kind of go through what 2023 and 2020 four looks like and looked like. So, and then what behaviors got us here, but won't get us there. We're going to have an introduction to this work by Marshall Goldsmith. Dive into why sometimes we might resist change, and then also discuss which success beliefs might be getting in our way of change and growth. But before we get started with the leadership development, I just want to thank you guys for being in this particular work today. This is pretty heavy stuff in regards to what got us here and won't get us there. So if you read through the agenda and you're like, okay, I'm going to show up for this. So that's a win. Thank you for having the courage to dive deeper, to look in the mirror instead of out the window, as Deslin Norris says, because this is some pretty important work, but it is some pretty intense work. So thanks again for being here to work through it. So, but real quick, before we get started, I wanted to just go through a little, review of what we've done in our leadership development for those that you are new. And just as a reminder, so we began about 2 years ago with a needs assessment. We created a leadership design team to help with that are leaders from across the company to help speak into the work that we're doing in this leadership development. We created our Meteor Leader Serves model, which we'll review here in a moment. Began charge up calls, where we have talked about things such as giving and receiving feedback, creating emotional and psychological safety, healthy conflict, lots of different communication things. And we'll continue to work on those sorts of things as we move forward. Meteor Minute was upgraded to add articles into that newsletter. Conflict dynamics profile, most of you have moved into that, had that work and gotten some of that feedback and coaching. And if you're new, stay tuned. And then we also have a leadership development side. And then we did a 360 feedback pilot with about 11, 13 leaders. So this is our Meteor Leader Serves model. Self-leadership plus people development. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today is around self-leadership. E, execute and advocate. R, reinvent and innovate. V, value relationships plus results. E, embody our core values and Meteorite Manifesto. And then S is seek to understand. So what's in store for 2024? We'll continue with our charge up leader calls, our Meteor Minute, and our leadership site. Conflict dynamics profile for new leaders, and the CDP inbox will return. So that is just every 2 weeks or once a week, just a little quick little blurb from our conflict dynamics profile research. We do have 3 leadership book studies going on right now on Leaders Eat Last, Brene Brown's Dare to Lead, and Elevate Your Team. So we have three groups that are in a 3-month commitment with each other. And then we're going to be doing 360 feedbacks for all leaders that supervise direct reports. So stay tuned for more on that. So those are our goals. All right, so let's hop into what we're going to be talking about today and for the next couple of charge up calls. So we're going to dive into the book, Marshall Goldsmith's What Got You Here Won't Get You There. You do not need to buy the book. We're going to be digging into some of the information. If you want to, or you have it on your shelf because it's been around a while, certainly dig into that. But we will work through the content on these charge up calls. But we chose this book for a couple of reasons. As a growing company and the things that we're needing to do as a company, What got us to this point of success may not get us to the point of where we need to be. So we know that we're innovating and changing quickly. And so what are those things as a company that we need to be, doing in a lot of different areas? But that also brings us to what got us here as leaders may not get us there. So that's why we're going to take a deep dive into Marshall Goldsmith's work, which he is one of the number one executive leaders, or one of the number one executive coaches in the world, and has many, many books. And this is one of his best sellers. So we're going to take a second to listen to him. This is about a 3-minute video. I would suggest writing a bunch of notes. There's a bunch of content in this particular video. I've watched it a couple times, and so you'll get something every time you see it. So grab a way to take notes, and then after this, we'll go back into the breakout sessions and discuss some of our takeaways. So here we go.
I define a great leader as a person who effectively helps others achieve their goals, not a great achiever who's good at achieving his goals or her goals. So we've developed a proven model for developing yourself as a leader, coaching others, and building teams. The first step of the model is you learn to ask for input. Ask, how can I do better? Then the next thing is listen to what people have to say in a non-judgmental way. Think about it. Fight the urge to instantly respond. Thank people for their input. Don't punish the messenger. Acknowledging their contribution, not promising to do everything. Then the next thing is involve everyone around you in your own personal improvement. Then, of course, change. Does anyone really change? Well, I've spent 40 years answering the question. Yes, I can help people change. And the key to all of the success of what I teach is follow up. If you ask for input, talk to people, follow up on a regular basis, and measure getting better, you improve. And the great management thinker Peter Drucker said, we spend a lot of time helping leaders learn what to do, and we don't spend enough time helping leaders learn what to stop. And if they learn what to stop, they get better at what to do. For example, I teach people don't add too much value. Quit doing that. What does that mean? I come to you with an idea. Rather than saying great idea, you say that's a great idea, but. Well, what happens is the quality of the idea may or may not go up 5%, but my commitment just went down 50%. Quit saying but. Quit proving you're smart all the time. Learning not to do that really helps you empower people. Historically, in the area of employee involvement, there's been a whole focus on what the company can do to engage you, not what you can do to engage yourself. Companies have asked something called passive questions. When you ask a passive question, you get an answer that blames the environment. Do you have clear goals? No, they're confused. Do you have meaning at work? No, they make me do trivia. Active questions, especially ones that begin with the phrase, did I do my best to? Really encourage people to look in the mirror and say, did I do my best to set my own goals? Did I do my best to engage myself rather than waiting for the company to engage me? Just asking yourself active questions every day can make a huge positive difference. Well, 3 tips to really help people in a practical way are: number 1, learn about your own bad habits, to teach you not just what to do, what to stop. Number 2, ask for input, learn to listen to it, follow up, and measure your own improvement. And then number 3, the active questions. Get in the habit of testing yourself every day on doing what's most important in your life. By the way, everything I teach is very easy to understand. It's difficult to do. And it's not difficult to do because it's intellectually difficult. It takes a lot of courage to look in the mirror. It takes a lot of humility to admit you can improve. And it takes a lot of discipline to do the work required to get better.
Right. I'm going to put you back in your breakout groups. So just discuss an interesting or important takeaway from that video. So before we actually get started, I failed to introduce some of our new leaders here. Patrick, can you help me welcome some of our newer leaders that are on the call today?
Sure. Yeah, I am Mr. Emlyn Jacoby, the managing director for the Heartland. Give us a nice wave.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And I can assure you that was a pen that was in his mouth. It was not a cigarette, but if anybody saw that the first go around. And then Michael Jordan. There's Michael.
The one and only. Here he is.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Excited to be here.
And I think
All
that's it.
right.
Did we miss anybody?
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Patrick, for your help there. And so let's hop into why the psychology around why we resist change. So you all are successful leaders. We've gotten to a place in your career, and then the whole premise is, okay, we're here, and what's going to actually get us there? But first of all, we have to understand of why we resist change. And so in the book, Marshall Goldsmith describes this picture. So I found one to help illustrate the story. So uh, it's an insurance company. They ran this ad showing a powerful grizzly, in the middle of a roaring stream, about to, chomp down on the salmon, teeth out, ruling the world. And the caption was, the headline read, "You probably feel like the bear, but we like to suggest you're the salmon." And the ad was for disability insurance. And so it struck Marshall Goldsmith in a way that, as we are, it's a powerful statement about how in the workplace, we delude ourselves from reality that, things may be not as exactly as it seems, in our achievement, status, and contributions. So what does that look like? How can we delude ourselves? We might delude ourselves by overestimating our contributions, taking undeserved credit, having an elevated opinion of the skills that we bring, ignoring costly failures and time-consuming dead ends that maybe we created, exaggerating our project's impact on profits by discounting some hidden costs. So in the book, it says, the costs are someone else's problems, but the success is mine. So these are some of the ways that we, delude ourselves in some of the things that we need to think about when we're looking at change. So in the book, and these are the first 3 chapters, he talks about 4 beliefs that got leaders to where we are, but may not get them there. So again, this is a one of those things. As I'm reading it, I have to really kind of continually think, like, look in the mirror, because I think we can all agree that we can create a list of people that, yeah, they should be reading this stuff. But it's all about self-awareness. Like, where am I in these beliefs? So the first one is, I have succeeded. So that's belief number 1. And what this means is that successful people believe in their skills and talents. We've been successful. We believe in what we're bringing to the work, and we are skillful and talented. What happens, though, is because we've been successful, this could create blind spots when trying to make changes. In summary, there's a lot more in the book, but this is in summary. The belief number 2 is that I can succeed. So what does this mean? This is the sheer force of my personality and my talent. I can steer any situation in my direction. Just by that sheer force, because I can succeed. I have succeeded, and so I know how to do that. But what happens is, to get us there, leaders do have room to grow, and some of our success, if we're honest with ourselves, might be in despite of our behaviors. So that's one of those things where that self-awareness is, how is my behavior impacting others? Because I have been successful. The next one is, I will succeed. So this is, I pursue opportunities. I do whatever it takes. I work really, really hard. I'm committed. But what happens here is that the excessive optimism, our overcommitment to achievement, equals no time to change or grow. And then finally, I choose to succeed. This is a really interesting one, where, our leaders, we have high self-determination, we're steadfast, we're committed, we can buckle down, we know what we're doing, we don't need to be told, all of those sorts of things. But what happens is, because we're, this is my choice, I am choosing to succeed, nobody's needing to tell me to do anything. The more we're committed to believing that, my success is because I am choosing to do this, the less likely we are to believe the opposite is true. And what that means is that we resist feedback. We resist the fact that maybe I need to gather a little bit more input. Maybe I need to get more feedback in my work. So here's in summary. So get your phone out and take a picture of this so that you have it in a moment, because we're going to do a little survey. That's anonymous, by the way. So I have succeeded because of my skills and talents. So it could create blind spots on things that I might need to improve. So these are the 4 beliefs kind of summarized. The second one, I can succeed because my personality and my skills, I got this. So I may not think I need to grow. I will succeed because I'm going to do whatever it takes. So what happens is I'm overcommitted and I'm too busy to learn, to change, to slow down, to ask the questions that I need to ask. And then the final one is I choose to succeed. So I don't need feedback or change or to grow, because it's my choice. I'm working on this. This is what I'm doing. So take a quick picture of this or remember it. Some of you might be able to remember that. And then this is an anonymous little survey here. So use the QR code and choose one of these that is interesting, may resonate. Again, it's anonymous, so don't feel like your name's going to be out there. But what resonates with you or is something interesting? So I succeeded, which creates blind spots. I can succeed, which means I don't need to change. I succeed, so I'm overcommitted and don't to have time for change. Or I choose to succeed, so I don't need feedback. Looks like 1 and 2 are in a race. Oh, here comes 3. Okay. So be thinking about these 4. And when you get into your breakout groups, remember these are psychologically safe places to be. We honor, one another's stories. Share what you're comfortable with sharing. You can speak, overall about the content, or maybe even share something about something that you're working on. So we're going to go back into the breakout rooms, and the conversation is about these things right here. Discuss which belief is interesting or resonates with these beliefs when we are working to change. There you go. There you go. All right. Okay. So as we finish up, because I do want to give you a gap, but let's talk about a few things as we wrap up some of these ideas. And again, this was over like chapters 1 through 3. So we're going to dive into some really deeper things as we move forward in this work. So this is the last paragraph-ish from chapter 3 from Marshall Goldsmith. Take a look around you at work. Why are you there? What keeps you coming back, every day, back every day? Is it one of the big 4, money, power, status, popularity, or is it something deeper and more subtle that has developed over time? So just something to think about as he kind of is teeing up the work in which we'll talk about with the habits. So I thought it was really interesting. He says this at the beginning of the video. Great leaders help others achieve their goals, and it's not great leaders are not those that are achieving, at a high, is they're not great at achieving their own goals, or they help others achieve their goals. I thought that was kind of just interesting to think through. Uh, he also mentions 3 action steps. He's got a lot of action steps, but in the video, he talks about learn about your own bad habits and what to stop. Because we talk a lot about like adding habits. We talked about it at the beginning of, our check-in today of, resolutions and great habits and things like that. But you know what? Even James Clear with Atomic Habits says there are things that we need to stop. And so that's part of leadership development. Asking for input and feedback, saying thank you and following up. So when we get that feedback, say thank you, make sure we're following up, and then asking active questions about what's most important in our life, and in our organization, and not, did I do my best today to set my goals? Did I do my best to engage, myself? Did I do my best to stay happy in my work? So Peter Drucker, one of the gurus of leadership, and they mentioned it in the video. Yes, this is one of Bill's favorites. He taught, this is a great quote. We spend a lot of time helping leaders learn what to do, and we don't spend enough time helping leaders learn what to stop. And he goes on to say that, when we learn what to stop, then we get better at what to do. So, in summary, we talked about the negative and low impact habits and behaviors. We began that conversation of what's not going to get us there. We talked about how it's just natural to resist change. That's just a natural psychological thing. We're successful. We're gonna, and it's common. Success beliefs could actually be getting in our way. And then a couple quick actions were, to learn about our bad habits, ask for feedback, and ask active questions. So Naylise is going to put a little sneak peek of the 20 bad habits that Marshall Goldsmith has in the book. And that's the big chunk of the book is about these bad habits. And so she's going to put that in the chat, the link to that in the chat if you want to take a sneak peek, but no, we're going to dive into them. And so finally, as we finish up today, again, this is anonymous, but anytime you go through a training, there might be 1, 2 nuggets that you can take and kind of that call to action. What are you going to do with this next week? So let's make a commitment to each other on that. Again, these are anonymous, but take your QR code and write in what behaviors or awareness that you can practice next week to help you on the journey of getting there. All right, ask for feedback from my team and their PGPs. Very timely. Engage myself. Work on self-awareness every day, all day, every minute. Yes. Asking myself, did I do my best to thank people for feedback, listen more, letting go and helping others achieve goals, better listener, ask how to improve and listen to feedback, ask for input, ask myself active questions. Active questions again, listen more, empower people, listen, pencil out time to learn and grow, delegate, take a breath before I respond, ask myself why I'm feeling like I am, what can I control, be comfortable with pauses in the conversation, active questions, figure out how I can better organize my time and duties during the week so I have that time, be brave enough to ask for feedback, yes, carve out time for self-reflection, engage myself, listen more, stay positive. Thank you. These are great. As we finish out, and again, I really want to give you a gap, but Bill, I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you have anything that you would like to add to this conversation today since you were on the call?
Actually, no. You've done a great job with the concept, and I don't feel like I'm going to put a lot on top of it, frankly.
Okay, well, when you feel like it, certainly you're invited to share. So like I said, we are going to dive into the rest of this work at least for the next at least 2 sessions, maybe more, depending on how much that we, can dive into this. But again, hope you got a nugget or two that will help you in your own journey as a leader. And if you would like to stay on for questions and discussion, we'll be on for the next 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Other than that, have a great Friday and a great weekend. Thank you.